I'm Judge Penny Wolfgang. It's time to get the big picture with an update on the Catholic Charities appeal and why the monies this year are needed more than ever. Reporter Tony Farina catches up with one of Western New York's most respected and philanthropic companies, Western Automotive, right here, right now, on the big picture. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. I'm Judge Penny Wolfgang. Buffalo is known as the city of good neighbors, a place where we help each other, especially in times of need. And the need is great. A recent statistic cited by World Population Review identifies Buffalo as having a 30% poverty rate. That's 3 out of 10 residents, with a 23% rate for the metro area overall. Which is why the annual Catholic Charities appeal is so important in our hometown. Known as the drive that never fails, this is not just a fundraising initiative for Catholic institutions and services. Monies raised help a variety of agencies and people of all faiths with need. Joining us to talk about the campaign is Clara Moran, Catholic Charities Chief Development Officer. We also welcome our friend, Dr. Nancy Nielsen. Dr. Nielsen is a 2020 co-chair as well, and is no stranger to the media in Western New York, keeping us informed these last few years during the pandemic. Dr. Nielsen is a clinical professor at the Jacobs School of Medicine and is also the recipient of numerous awards, including Distinguished Alumni from the Catholic University. Dr. Nielsen also served as president of the American Medical Association in 2008, and she has the distinct honor of having been my own doctor many years ago. We welcome you both.
Thank you.
We welcome you both so much. So Clara, let's just start with you. Why don't we just give a general explanation of the overall mission of the Catholic Charities?
Sure. Generally speaking, Catholic Charities is here to help people. We're here to help people, as you mentioned, of all walks of life. And the saying that's been going around is from cradle to grave. So we are serving 57 programs throughout 43 locations throughout the Diocese of Buffalo.
Okay. So now, Dr. Nielsen, the appeal runs until the end of June. I kind of thought it was over already, so I'm glad that you pointed that out and we have an opportunity to talk to our viewers about this. And that's longer than it used to, and you've raised, I heard, nearly $8 million to date. Is that enough? Is there a goal that you want more than that for some goal?
Absolutely. The goal this year is 9.5 million, and we are at 8. We're happy to say, Clara just told me that this morning. The more we raise, the more good we can do. It is important for people to know that this, there's no faith, there is no faith discrimination at all. We help anybody in need. And actually, Catholic Charities last year helped 1 out of 10 people in the 8 counties of Western New York. So I think people don't realize the breadth of what we do. I didn't until I got involved in this and began to learn more. I knew about the food pantries, I knew about the counseling and substance abuse, but I did not know all the other stuff that's done. Catholic Charities is the most full service social services agency in this area, serving kids, people of all ages, people of all faiths. So the more people give, the more good we can do, and every dollar that is donated is magnified 3 or 4 times by grants and contracts. So we're just appealing to people to please be generous, give from your heart. Okay, so you brought this up already, and it was one of the questions that we all wanted to know. John told me, ask this. How did you get involved? We're already going to talk to you and have talked about, how busy you are, and we've told our viewers what an impressive background you have as a physician, as a doctor, as an educator. How did you become in the co-chair of this appeal? Well, my co-chair Tom Beecher, who is very, very well known and very good at raising money for a variety of charitable causes, called me and twisted my arm, and you can't say no to Tom.
It's not the right answer.
So I was happy. I was
no,
happy to pitch in.
That's not the only answer. No, keep going. There's more. There's more.
Well, the reality is, you know, let me just tell you a funny story. One of the things that Tom let me do as co-chair was, he said, you pick the patron saint for this year. And so I said, it can only be Mother Teresa. It can only be. And the important thing about Mother Teresa, everybody knows about Mother Teresa, but the one thing that she always said is, help the people at home. Help the people around you. You don't have to go to India to help the poor. I think that's really good advice. And so, yes, of course, I'm happy to help.
We know you are, Clara. This is the 98th year, I just heard, for the appeal. And I need you maybe to talk about some of the programs, like Dr. Nielsen mentioned a few in passing, but across the 8 counties, which I wanted you to say also, what are some of the programs that you are sponsoring or responsible for or contributing to?
Sure. 57 programs is a lot to articulate.
My gosh. Oh, we don't have that much time.
But I won't
No.
name them all by name, but we look at the programs that we have in different groupings. So we provide basic emergency assistance, which could include our food pantries. We have 9 of them across the 8 counties. We also provide mental health counseling and substance use treatment. We have our workforce and education department, so everything from getting your high school equivalency to job training and placement, we do some of that. We have an immigration and refugee assistance program that's helping refugees that come to this area. And then we also have youth and family safety and stabilization services and support. So that could be some court mandated programs, that could be counseling for youth. So we have quite a breadth of services.
And when you're talking about these services, it sounds like there are other places that you can get, like youth counseling or family, you know, there's many family centers, domestic relations. So counseling, do you work with other agencies? I mean, because it sounds like it might be cooperative rather than doing the same thing over and over.
Sure. So we do try to work with other agencies, of course, to collaborate. Again, everyone's main objective here is to help people, so it's really important that we all work together. But I think what's unique about Catholic Charities is the places in which we are serving people. We are in underserved regions of our Western New York and within the city, serving people that can't necessarily get to other locations for help. So certainly we work with others, but because of our large footprint, we're able to come to where people need us.
That's important because you mentioned the 8 counties, and as you said, we think there might be a lot of services in the city of Buffalo, but there might not be in Alden or Springville, or I don't know why I named those places, but I'm just thinking of places that seem far away to me. But when you talk about the 8 counties, there's a lot of help, a lot of need.
Certainly, yeah. There's in Erie County and certainly in the city of Buffalo, there's more people, so we have more locations in those regions, but we do have our footprint across all 8 counties, going from, as you mentioned, Olean, we actually have an office there, all the way up to you know, Lewiston and Niagara Falls area.
Now, you did mention this already, but I think Dr. Nielsen did, but you don't have to be, it's not just Catholic religious people. It's not necessarily part of the religion that you have to be to get services. Because you mentioned refugees, for example, from other countries, and so you want to stress that.
Absolutely, and for example, you asked about do we collaborate with others? We do, and maybe the thing that people see the most of is in helping refugees. There are basically 4 agencies in this area. We are one of them that help refugees, and refugees are not illegals in this country. Okay. They are here legally, so that's important. Sometimes that confuses people. So we do collaborate with other agencies to try to help take care of anybody in need irrespective of their faith.
The website is ccwny.org. And the helpline is 716-218-1419. Can people just reach out if they are in need? Can anybody that is in need call either those numbers or do it that way?
Yes, and I will add one other way to do that, and that is by going to our search bar at our website. You can type in any number of things, and it is a new website, so it's really easy to get access to those services and locations, but calling that helpline also will do the same thing.
Now, we just cannot let you go, Dr. Nielsen, without talking a little bit about COVID for the last few minutes, because
Sure.
When we heard it was going to be Dr. Nielsen here, the spokesperson, and we've learned so much from you over all, the last couple of years. Just a little update, what's the status? And I just want to tell you that it seems to me I never knew as many people during the last 2 years that had COVID as I do in the last month.
You're absolutely right, Judge Wolfgang. And the reason for that is the subvariant that is circulating throughout the country right now is so incredibly contagious. And so even people who are vaccinated and boosted may get infected, but they're not going to end up in the hospital and they're not going to end up in the morgue. That's the good news. So yes, almost everybody is going to encounter this. I've been fortunate so far. I've tested negative. I tested negative before I came here today, just to be sure that we were all safe. But I think we can expect to have to live with this virus from now on.
Well, that's kind of what we're hearing and seeing in the fact that it's going to be like a yearly, maybe like the flu
Right.
is, and we'll be able to get shots for it every year. And you already pointed out what I think is really important is that it's not as serious. It's more like a cold, or it's not the serious virus that we were dealing with a couple of years within the last 2 years.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is we're vaccinated and boosted. It is still a very serious illness for people who are vulnerable and not vaccinated. But the one thing that ties in with Catholic Charities about that is because of the isolation that people felt when we were, we were unable to, kids weren't going to school, they were doing everything remotely. There's been a real increase in need for mental health services. No doubt about it. And there's been an increase in substance use disorder and deaths that is just very, very sad. And that's why the kinds of services that are offered are so needed right now.
Because you have, I don't know if we mentioned this, but even food pantries and mental health assistance, and I'm not sure if we mentioned that before. But
Yes, we have food pantries in we have 9 food pantries in various counties throughout Western New York. And what's been unique about those food pantries is normally people come once a month, but during the pandemic, the ability to come more frequently was there for people that needed it. And what makes us unique in the mental health field is that in Niagara County, we actually are one of the only service providers for youth and children for counseling.
that's really important. Now, I know there are 3 options that people have, ways that they can donate? Yes, 3. Do
Yes.
you want to just
Yes,
give us that?
When you donate, you can choose one of 3 options. You can give to Catholic Charities and Fund for the Faith, as it has traditionally been done. You can choose Catholic Charities only or Fund for the Faith only.
And people will understand that? I mean, there's an explanation if they go online or...
Yes, all of the programs, including the Fund for the Faith ministries, are all listed on our website at ccwny.org.
Okay, well, Clara Moran, Chief Development Officer for Catholic Charities, and Dr. Nancy Nielsen, we thank you so much for spending some time to give us on the big picture on the drive that never fails. Now, before we conclude this segment, let's review the website and the phone numbers. You can go to ccwny.org/donate, or you can call 716-218-1400. You can also text Give Hope 22 to 44321. We're going to leave that information up on the screen as we go to break. We will be back with more right after this.